Hello. Hello. Welcome, listeners, exclusively to the Highly Doubted Podcast. I'm your host, KQ Dog. And this is episode 117.5, man. Bonus episode. I ain't done one of these in a fortnight. It's been longer than a fortnight. It's been a fortnight since I done dropped the episode. A lot of stuff's happening, y'all. Too much stuff is happening. Off the bat. Thank you for all of the listeners. Thank you for all of the supporters. Thank you for all of the people who have been waiting patiently for us to get our heads out of our asses and get back on the road to infinity. Shout out to the Spotify listeners. Shout out to the Spotify watchers for the last two episodes have been visual. Shout out to the YouTube family. Thank you all again for, liking, subscribing, pressing that notification bell. We appreciate that. We do. This will be a audio experience because a lot of stuff is happening to where I'm getting antsy. Y'all know how I feel about shit when shit start getting antsy. I start getting trigger happy, pod happy, talk happy. I just want to start talking my shit. And Whitley's here, but she's busy. If she wants to stop being busy, she will give me his signal and you will hear her immediately. So just know she's on standby waiting for me to say something stupid so she can just pop in and say something. She's waiting. She over there plotting. She's like, I'm gonna let him cook. And I be cooking, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know, listen, for the listeners who have been a part of the bonus episodes, especially when I do my little singles, man, y'all know how I get it off, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know how I be do. Yeah, man. So I definitely just want to appreciate all the listeners, all the supporters for definitely just, to make sure that you guys are all here. And we just want to make sure that I give the love to everyone. But like I said, man, there's a lot of things happening that I want to get into with you guys, you know? Um, Man, where do I start, man? There's just so much to even get into because um it's just one of those things where life really does be life in. And I think that's where I really start with most of my single episodes when it comes to me and what life. It's always some tragic situation that makes me have to pop up and speak on it because I just can't hold it in any longer. It hurts my soul. It hurts me to just keep it inside. I have to tell y'all what's going on with my life. Um, all right, man, I'm pussyfooting too much, man. Where do I start from the top? Let's just get to the most egregious, most foul thing that just happened in my life most recently. It's actually the most recently thing that happened, but it's the most egregious and fucked up situation. Solo. If y'all know who Solo is, it was stolen from me. Stolen from me. Stolen from us. Some rapscallion came and took my vehicle. I cannot believe someone would plot and make me a victim of theft. Y'all don't understand, man. I have never had my car. I had my car broken into. Yeah, I was there for that. I had my car broken into on Black Friday. That was my fault. That was my fault. Well, to be completely honest, if when I tell the story, some of y'all gonna be like, "This your fault too, nigga." So let's just get into it. So yes, I got my car stolen. How did I get my car stolen? I got my car stolen doing a DoorDash. I was doing a DoorDash and this is what I said on the police report. So the police will know this is what the feds listen, they know this too because I said it to them. Hopefully they get the culprit. But basically I was doing a DoorDash, and this particular DoorDash it was on the third floor, and I naturally hop out the whip with the car on. Y'all already saying this dumbass nigga. I know. Why? Why do I do that? Because I usually don't think about theft, and that's a naive thing. Let's start there, but let's get serious. My car is a push to start. So with a push to start, with my knowledge, with the prior knowledge I had, you can't drive a push to start without the keys in the car. There's no way that you can drive without the keys in the car. It's just not happening. So in my head, I was like, even if someone got in my vehicle, they ain't going nowhere. They ain't going nowhere. They gonna twist it and it's gonna twist back. Sorry, ain't no key there. Get out. Find it. So that's what I thought was gonna happen. The truth is, if you have a push to start and your car is on, even if you have the keys on your person, somebody can still get in your car and drive off with it as long as the car is still on. If you did not know that, now you know. If you knew that, then I didn't know. So now we're here. But yeah, that is what happened, and this is where I get into my I get into the details of how this theft happened. I was on the third floor. I saw him from the top third floor from the balcony. I heard a little boop boop. My car do a little boop boop when the door opened without the keys, and I know the boop boop because I do it all the time. So when I heard the boop boop, I was like, I'm up here. Who down there? So I look down. I see somebody in my car. I'm like, what the hell? Man, I dropped the bag. Now, if y'all ever have an apartment complex and y'all know how this thing go, if you live on the third floor, you have rails. And if you were younger and used to do this, you understand what I'm about to say. You grab the rails as far as you can with your arms, and you hurdle your body as far as you can down them steps. You lunge your body down them steps. You take your arms, you grab that rail, you down them steps. I'm telling you, that's what you use. I used to do that when I was a kid. So this was the perfect moment, right? So, and mind you, as he's in my car, he's not just driving off, because I understand that my hybrid the dash look different. The things look different. So now you gotta understand what you're driving before you can just pull off. And this man was in a speedy time. He didn't have time. So I had the time. So I was using the time to get down there and get in his ass. But as I was making this down the steps, I twisted my ankle. If you land on your foot wrong and you just land it sideways and your ankle is on the floor, that's what happened the first time, and it hurt. But because of what is happening right now, I don't care about none of that. We gonna get to that later. Let's go down the rest of these steps. So the first set of stairs, I did twist my ankle because it was just so much happening. I just didn't think I was had to do that. However, the rest of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I cleared them. Like a gymnastic. Oh my gosh. I was perfect, flawless down them steps, right? Clearing. Listen, I went to the top of the step, grabbed the rail, jumped, hit the bottom step, didn't touch a single, cleared them, right? Now here's where I get to the last step. I get to the last set of stairs, and mind you, as I'm doing this grandioso performance, by the way, this man is still yet pulled off because he is still trying to figure out what's going on in the car. I am making great time. I'm making great time, right? So as I'm making this great world record time of trying to stop this theft, the last set of stairs I try to clear fall on the ankle again, second time. And that one hurt. Bad. Okay. It's one of them ones where you do it a second time and you try to get up like ain't nothing in your ankle, like, nah, brother, that we ain't getting up from now. We gonna have to sit here for a second to recoup that second one, boy. By the time, I'm trying to recover from the stumble of the second one, he's pulling off and it's too late. But I still try to make a beeline. I'm hobbling, running with adrenaline. Can't make him. Can't miss him. Tried to double back. Went another way. Drove off. End of story. Called Whitley. She came and got me. Called the police. Made a report. Police came to the house. Talked to the police. Told the police everything that happened. All the information. I'm a civilian in this situation. I need my property was stolen and I wanted it back. So I'm tell them everything so they can get my property back. And yeah, man, that's the end of the story. That's kind of where it's been since then. There hasn't really been any updates. Nobody has. Well, I've got a call, but that's no good, solid, concrete, nothing. So it's just been that. That's. I'm carless again. Yeah. So that is a hurdle that I am trying to get over. And my ankle was also a part of the situation where I had to recover because I couldn't walk, couldn't work for a good week. Had to sit down and elevate the leg and take pills that Whitley want me to take, because y'all, I don't take pills, but she over here telling me to pop all these pills. I'm over here being a pill popper for a week. I'm over here drowsy, can't walk. I'm over here walking on couches. I don't know, I'm out of my mind. I can't do nothing. It's just crazy. So, I just been cooped. I was cooped up recovering in the house for a week, and my ankle is better as we're talking, as you're hearing this recording right now as we speak. My ankle is so much better. Able to work and everything. But hey, man, I'm carless. So, transportation, when you don't have your transportation, you realize how important your transportation was, right? So, having to do other things, having to ask people to help a brother out in need, humbling as it is, I'm blessed that people are able to empathize with me and help me in my struggle. So thank you for all those people who are assisting me and, checking up on me and checking in on me. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Definitely is something that I need. The prayers are more than anything. Prayers more than money, damn it. Need your prayers. The money will come. The money will come. I need the prayers. Give me the energy. So, yeah, man. That really was the big crescendo that has hit KQ lately. There have been other things that have hit me that's caused the hiatus that we've had. But we got to make sure we do this correctly and organized and professionally. You dig? So, shout out to DB, man. I didn't even shout my man out in the beginning. Shout out DB, man. Obviously he's not on the spot either. But at the same time, he is a focal major part of the podcast. He has been with us since the return. So I always want to make sure I give the people their flowers when they're, voluntarily coming out of doing things out of their way, giving up the space, giving up the time, sharing their ideas, just trying to contribute to the vision. So I definitely want to shout out DB for, just rocking with us, man, rocking with us, continue to rock with us. Whitley as well, of course, but Whitley get the praises every day, all day, every damn day. We ain't finna do that with her anyway. But yeah, man, shout out to all the people that's definitely been a part of the journey, man. Not even on the pod, just like people that I've talked to at work in life, like talking about life things, stupid things, silly things. Everything that I have been going through since the last podcast has been so much perspective in life. And even in the loss of my car, I think I've gained a lot more perspective of being an adult and what adult life means and what adult life has in store if I don't get my shit together. But at the same time, what life has in store when you do get your shit together. So, it's one of those things where you have a choice. The choice gets clear as you get older, and you can't be upset at the results because the choice is yours. So I'm realizing that the choices that I'm making is affecting my life. And if you want a better life, make better choices, motherfucker. Yeah. Take that to the bank. But yes, growth, elevation, always is the theme of the podcast, always the theme of me when I get into my bag, you know what I'm saying? It's all about elevation and growth and prosperity and shit like that. We're going to get some darkness, there's some darkness, there's some pettiness, there's some drama that I got to speak on too. Don't act like this is some cupcake podcast where I just be giving up love and praises and I ain't got no shit to get off. Fuck you mean, man? I don't need DB and Whitley to act a damn fool. I can act a fool by myself, nickel. Having said that, though, shout out to Travis and shout out to Brandon for their contributions to the podcast as well with their visuals. You know what I'm saying? Making sure they also are getting their love and praises to what they have what they have done for the podcast, and how they've also created it, giving me like a just a glimpse, you know what I'm saying, just a little peephole of what it is, of what it's gonna be when it's visual, you know what I'm saying. And yes, I said once we go visual and I'd stop it, and and yes, I did mean that, but life, I got my car stolen, leave me alone. Okay. The money is transferred to something else, okay? The time is transferred to something else. We gonna be podding, but it might not be visual the way we wanted it to be consistently, because podding is one aspect of life, and, if I ain't got my car, I can't get my money, can't get my money, can't get the pod. I ain't got the ain't got the energy to talk to y'all about what I want to talk about in the fashion I want to talk about. Just gotta sit in the sides and just let me fester on what's happening in real life, and then come to y'all and also share genuinely. But at the same time, hey, I kind of got it figured out a little bit, so I don't have to just be rambling too much. And if I am rambling, forget y'all. This is my podcast. Nah, man, I definitely want to make sure that those boys are definitely getting their love praises, man. You know, part of the hiatus of the podcast has also been understanding the role that I'm stepping into as this grows, right? Being the leader of this podcast and being the final say and the final voice and the final person who makes the choice of what goes on is new to me. It's new to me, but because this is something that I have worked a lot of hours and hours and hours for, it's a position that if I don't do it, who will? So you got to do it, and you got to do it correctly, right? Or at least in the way that I view is correctly. And to be vulnerable with you guys, I always visualize, doing my business or having my business from a standpoint of the people who are a part of it, who are on the ground level, who are making the foundation, should definitely have a part and definitely have a say on what goes on in the dealings of it, right? Because what's the point of them contributing if they're not able to share their opinion? As a person, as a boss, like if you putting in the work, and I acknowledge your work, and shoot, your work is making it work. Why wouldn't I want to pick your brain? So that's the part where the more people you have in the process, you got to accommodate for their opinions. And some opinions you might not agree with, some opinions you might flat out just disregard. But in the space of you saying what you have to say, I allow it. I allow it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not something that you shouldn't have, regardless of what it is. It ain't gotta be business, a friendship, a conversation with a stranger. You should have if you're engaging with somebody and you're having a conversation with somebody, you should be able to share your opinion, even if it is one-sided, nearsighted. I accept it. But at the same time, I also have the choice of how I respond, if I respond. Sometimes the best response is no response, right? Because many factors go into what you say when you're in these spaces and you're in this position, because you could say something to feel real good because you said it and it got off your chest and it's like, yeah, man, but it's like, what was that for? And better question, was that best for the business? Was that best for the podcast? Was that best for the overall view of the brand? And if the answer is no, then ain't no point in saying anything. Or just let it fly, or just let it go, or just move on, or just, as my mother says, chew the meat, spit out the bones. So, yeah, that's just how I've had to maneuver in certain spaces and certain conversations with people. Make sure I get my point across, make sure respect is always there. But at the same time, I don't think that everything needs a response. And sometimes, depending on how much you've contributed to said thing, it's better to just thank you for your contribution and, be grateful that you even thought of wanting to be a part and applied to play a part. That's the part that I'll just hold to the heart and, keep it cool, keep it pushing. Basically, I see the good in all of the bullshit. When there's bullshit, which has been a lot of it in the last month, I am a very optimistic person where I've really seen I've really seen the optimism in a lot of BS, right? And it kind of takes you back to the car being stolen thing. You know, like what could I done that could have been better? You know, could I have been could I have been more aware of my surroundings and turn the car off and did it. Turn the car. I mean, everything I did is just left the car on, but turn the car off, and let's say said person was still plotting or still wanting to, see me or chase me or whatever the case may be. He saw me in the space of where, hey, this is a lick. I'm gonna get a lick, and the car was the car was the prize. And if the car was off, he could have been like, oh well, whatever, the car is off. But if it don't matter if the car is off, I'm gonna take it anyway. Then he would have got me. He would have robbed me. He would have got everything. Because that's the part where it didn't just have to be, the car being on. If a person was like, nah, I got a weapon, I got this, I got multiple people, you know what I'm saying? Like whatever the case may be, stick it up, get down and lay down, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not finna be Mr. Macho Man and be like, I'll take all 5 of you. I'll take everything. I don't care if I got a gun. Most likely I would have been like, bro, none of this is worth it. None of it is worth it. So, yeah, take it. Matter of fact, give me your phone. Matter of fact, give me your wallet. Matter of fact, give me your clothes. You finna just strip your butt naked now. And he got a gun, so I'm gonna strip butt naked. And then Whitley gonna have to get me butt naked in the middle of this apartment complex. So, no. I appreciate that I was able to have all of my belongings on me. I had my phone on me. I had my wallet on me. I had my keys on me. I had my wallet, I had my car, everything important. So nothing in the car was taken that I didn't have to immediately have to worry about, except for the car. So that was a blessing. The good in the bullshit, right? But yeah, man, that's just kind of been the overall theme of the last month of March, kind of February too, because of the audio situations that were happening and the miscommunications of certain things. So, just trying to mobilize through all this, man. Like sometimes, is it even worth it? Is it even worth it? All this trouble. Why do I do this to myself? Why do I run myself up a wall to do these things? Why do I put myself through these things every single day, every single week, every single conversation on a thread? Why do I choose this? Because I chose this. Because this is what I want. I wouldn't do anything else. I wouldn't rather do anything else, right? Even to a job perspective. Many times I've had a job and I was like, oh, this is a cool job, but I don't see myself really doing this forever. This is kind of like, it's not really I'm not really feeling it. I don't really feel it. You know what I'm saying? So that's where it would be a good job. I get paid good. People will like me in terms of my higher ups, and they would definitely give me opportunities of higher management or higher positioning. But because of literally the brand or not the brand, but the company or what the company entails, not just from a face value, but what it is, retail or a grocery store, whatever it is, the company that really does. I don't really see myself really being I don't see myself investing myself for real in this, so that's where I really kind of defer most of those situations, because the job that I have at that moment is good enough for where it's at, and it's just a moment in time. I don't think that for this one. I've been saying that for a while, but I do feel like this job is one of those few that's just it's the only job that I've had that I was just yo, this thing right here is really fire. And to talk about it just a little bit, man. And this gonna come out before or maybe during, no, probably after. But long story short, I'm working the ACC championship, right? So that's kind of the good thing. All of the teams that are from the ACC, all the teams from the ACC are definitely coming through, showing their love. Close, great games. Obviously, I know all of y'all have been watching it. I have had a front row seat watching these close nail biter games, overtime games. Anyways, yeah, the ACC championship, man, tournament is really, really good, man. A lot of these teams are really balling. I know everybody has their favorites: UNC, Duke, Syracuse, Cal. Who am I missing? There's so many teams. Notre Dame, Wake Forest. Did I say UNC already? Man, listen, Stanford. The ACC, basically every team except for NC State I think that's kind of the whole premise of it. The whole premise is North Carolina is in the building. That's kind of what I'm saying. Wake Forest is in the building. UNC is in the building. Duke is in the building. You know what I'm saying? Am I missing one? State is not in the building. That's what's the one that's not, right? State is the only one from an NC standpoint that's not there. Also, Clemson is there. From South Carolina, but the Carolinas are in the building, so definitely they're showing their love, showing their support. You already know. The last couple games where UNC has been on the floor, the people that we have been serving high on the Carolina blue. Right? There's some Duke blue in there. There's some Dukes in there. Shout out to Duke. You know what I'm saying? I have no horse in this race. Do not get on my case about who I should be saying is good or bad or hip hip hooray or ha ha to them. I have no horse in this race. If anything, I just love the whole camaraderie of it, especially when Duke and UNC get into it. I love it. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. I love it. It's like wrestling. I swear it is. Especially when I don't have a horse in the race, so I just like the banter and the hostility. Playfully, of course, the hostility, because I know it when I have my rivalries with certain teams. So I love to have it when it's just me being a spectator. The passion is strong, especially in college basketball. You already know how that is in North Carolina. We are one of the powerhouses when it comes to college basketball. UNC, Duke, Wake Forest, these teams are contending for the ACC championship, so they're getting their just due. Shout out to the Carolinas, man. And that's another thing, man. Being back in the Carolinas, I know that this podcast originated in Oakland, California. Shout out to Oakland. Shout out to everybody that made this possible in terms of me making the journey to there, all the journeys in between, and the journey out. Right. So, California, just from a beginning, middle, and end, everyone played a part in making this podcast to come to this point in North Carolina, episode 117.5 bonus episode, that we're able to just grow and elevate to a level that I envisioned. I knew it was going to be like this, but it was just the consistency, a matter of time, and just certain moves that just had to be made for it to happen. I don't ever think that I take none of this for granted, but I do understand that the highs that I've gotten lately from, certain posts that I've posted on the Instagram to, just having new people come into the spaces and interact with the spaces, new fans, new listeners, people who I just talk to, kick the shits with, and they just want to talk about the podcast or asking about the podcast or seeing what the podcast is on. And I love all that. And I think, as I've had a lot of conversations with you all, it's made me really want to pod. But it's like, I don't want to pod just because I want to pod, because that's what I wanted to do. That's what it is, and I think I've had to take some time away to really make sure that the integrity of this podcast stays intact. You don't want to lose yourself in the fame. We ain't close to that. We ain't close to fame. It's not nowhere. But I am saying that, making sure 100 episodes in, even though, it's 117, compared to what we've done and where we've been, where y'all ain't where y'all at, there's plenty of time, plenty more episodes, plenty of content. Like, don't just give us the grandioso speech now. But I think every time that I do have a podcast like this, it has to show the reflection of where we've been and what we've done. And I think at this point, even though it's been a little spacey with the dropping and the inconsistencies, which we have had before, we're trying to get a visual. We're trying to get a visual experience, not just a visual podcast. We're trying to make people really enjoy watching and listening to us. And I think it takes time to do that. And as time happens, stuff happens, like your car getting stolen. And to be honest with y'all, in real life, like, I know I pod for y'all, but in real life, I really haven't been tripping over this car. I really haven't. I've really just been letting it just ride. I don't even think about it that hard, except when I have to share the story and people have questions, and then I have to go into it and then relive the situation, this traumatic situation over and over again. But no, it's serious to where it's like, I think about it when I got to talk about it, but if I ain't thinking about it, I ain't talking about it. And there's so much stuff that's happening. I've been thinking about my ankle more than the car, right? People were like, damn, what happened to your ankle? Oh, my car got stolen. What? The heck? Wait a minute. Oh. And it's like, all right, see, now we got to start from the top. So, the biggest emphasis is the ankle, and the ankle's getting better, right? Now, how I get my ankle hurt, from this point on, I ain't talking about it no more. I ain't talking about it no more. If you ask me past this episode what happened, I'm going to say, if you want to know what happened, go check out the Highly Doubted Podcast on episode 117.5. We will figure out the name, but the name will be there. And I will have a timestamp for you so you can know exactly what happened in full detail. And I ain't talking about it no more. I'm going to walk away and they'll be like, did he just? Yep, I did. Drop it. So that's just really the personnel. I'm at 30 minutes and, I done ran up a little personal stuff about 30 minutes. A good dirty 30. I have something for y'all. I do. Don't make it seem like I just came here to talk about my life all day, which if y'all do like that, thank you guys. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? I be trying to talk to my life, but on the main timeline, you see what I got to do on the main timeline. You see what I got to do with, I got to be the host, and the host is, y'all know what I do, but at the same time, you hear that? She can laugh with her other friends, but she can't. It's all right. It's her day off. This is a sporadic podcast. But at the same time, I lost my train of thought messing with that damn woman. Anyway, so after 30 minutes in, I'm going to transition to something. I have something for you guys. I really do. It's special for me too, and it's also something that it's a question that I also get from people from time to time about, what is the podcast? What is the Hideout Podcast? What is it about? What makes you guys different? Et cetera, et cetera. So I have officially, and again, these are the type of things where I like to say officially. So when you hear it officially, if you ask me after or post pod, it tells me two things. One, you do not listen to the podcast. Wait, no, let's start. One, you do not listen to the podcast. And that means you're a new listener. I'm introducing the podcast to you. And most likely, I would probably refer you to an episode that would clearly explain it way better than I could in that conversation. Even though you want to hear in that conversation, I probably will give a grand explanation. But I still want you to listen to the podcast just so you can be a part of the Highly Doubted Podcast family. So one, you will ask me that and you have never heard the podcast before. That's fine. Number two, you've listened to the podcast and you're still asking me that question. You don't listen. You're stubborn. And I don't like that. Stop being lazy. If you ask me what the podcast is, and I tell you what the podcast is, and you listen to, and you have asked it to me, you asked me what the podcast is, I've given you the name, and then you come back to me and say, what was it called again? I'm going to stop talking to you about the podcast. I'm going to talk to you. I'm not like that, but I'm going to stop talking to you about the podcast because at this point, you're pissing me off. Because I believe that if you really are invested in someone, and you want to know something or know something about someone, you're not going to forget. You're truly not going to forget. If something captivates you, if something mesmerizes you, or if you even say, hey, I'm going to listen to this, you're going to do it. Now, it's up to you if you want to be like, hey, man, listen to the podcast. Da, 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 da. But do not ask me again, what is the Highly Doubted Podcast called? I forgot. It wasn't called. It's called the Highly Outed. Stop. You're pissing me off. Professionally, you're pissing me off. So I would say that you listen to the podcast when I say it the first time. If I need to grab your phone and put it on it, like these are the people that I talk to. So this is a personal jab. So take it personally, my personal people that asked me this question. Yes. If you ask me this question again, then you never listen to podcasts, right? I'm going to take your phone. I'm gonna put it on your inch. I'm gonna give you the IG. I'm gonna give you Spotify, YouTube. What you do? Oh, I listen to. All right, let's put it. Somebody put it on. There you go. Add it. Click the bell. I'm gonna do it for you. Bow. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it for you. So you'll never ask me again. What is it called? How often do we drop? Did we drop? You wanna know why? Because you follow, and you follow, and you know. And when you're in the know, the conversation changes. The conversation changes from what's that podcast again to, hey, I heard what you said on blah, 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 blah. This is what I think. That's what I want. I want y'all to come in my face. Pause. Whoa. I'm sorry. That was a pause moment. I'm sorry. That was a this new age generation. Anyways, if you approach me, I would rather you say, so you really feel that way about XYZ? That's crazy. It's funny that you brought up XYZ because or how dare you say what you said about XYZ because that's what I want right there. That's what I want right there. Interaction, engagement. I want reactions. I don't want questions. You might ask me a question off of what you saw, but don't ask me no questions about the place. Ask me questions about what I said in the place. You know what I'm saying? That's just the next level of fandom, the next level of interaction, the next level to make us grow into what we are. So I will say this. I started this particular segment saying, stop telling me about the damn podcast after I told you, because I want you to be inside of the podcast so we can have deeper conversations. That's why I want you to do that. There's a method to my madness, y'all. Don't just think I'm hating on y'all. I'm being serious. Okay. And again, I did have a description for you guys about what the podcast is, what it's about, and give you a real in-depth, right? So we'll start here, right? This is just frequently asked questions we get from people, listeners, and anyone who has these questions moving forward. Come back to this episode, this timeline, this timestamp, and you will get these answers. And you know what? Fuck it, we'll put it in the bio just for y'all. What is the Highly Doubted Podcast? The Highly Doubted Podcast is a show that covers a broad range of topics, primarily focused on entertainment, culture. Oh, so you want to join me? Do you want to join me, Whitley? I just said that. I've been said. Whitley's talking.
Stop it.
Whitley.
Stop it. You stop what you're doing right now. Stop it. Steve, you continue, goddammit.
I'm waiting for you to.
You stop it.
I'm stopping.
You stop.
I'm stopping. I just want you to.
All right. I'm just making sure you were stopping.
All right. Whitley's going.
Goddamn gilly pod, okay? Fucking bullshit ass gilly pod.
Whitley is leaving us now. Okay. Sorry, guys. Got a little ahead of myself. Again, we have a lot of things to talk about, and Whitley just told y'all and me to stop because I'm giving up a little bit too much juice. So I think I will end this podcast at 40 minutes. Because it's because I really just wanted to, please, I had to talk. I had to. Sorry, DB. I'm sorry, Whitley. I'm sorry. I just couldn't do it. I just had to do it. No, I'm being funny. I'm being serious, but I'm being funny. The real reason why I'm doing this right now is because we are trying new things, new methods on recording, trying to get the podcast to its the level that we had it in, even greater, right? So that starts audio wise. So we're using new software. We're using new methods to we're using new methods and software to make sure the podcast is able to be clear, have a great audio experience. And I think from so much I've been doing and hearing, it's been good. And these things take time, right? But I will have a quick turnaround with this episode because you know how I am with the audio episodes. I can do that in 24 hours. 24 hours. But I definitely want to make sure that this software works. It's working well. I think you all have had a good dose of excuse me. You had a good dose of KQ and a little bit of pinch of Whitley. Again, DB will join us when we get back on our regular scheduled program, or he will. But having said that, we will stop it here. We'll stop it here. I appreciate all y'all for listening. I appreciate all y'all for tapping in. I appreciate y'all for checking in. I'm human at the end of the day still. So, sometimes something like entertainment, I've said this before, especially in the last episodes before 100, life happens to where shit just, you guys, we gotta put things in perspective and put priorities differently. So, ending on that statement, the podcast, my goal for the podcast is to not make it a side priority when life happens. Life is the podcast. Podcast is life. So therefore, when things happen, podding will be the first thing that goes because it's the moneymaker. It's the cash flow. It's the thing that keeps the damn lights on. But again, I don't want to talk too much because Whitley gonna get on my ass again. So I appreciate y'all for listening. Thank y'all, listeners, for listening into the High Data Podcast. Thank y'all for supporting us. Thank y'all for tapping in. Please, again, like, subscribe, get into all of the deets. Please follow us on the High Data Podcast Instagram. You see our Instagram names in the bio, as well as you'll see all the things that we've had done. I know a lot of people don't really like back catalog, but we have a lot of it. So, just dive in, man. Dive in the podcast and just see what you like. Whatever, whether it be a picture, the picture of the episode that we had, the title that caught, that was, you're interested on the title. We have a lot of content, y'all. We have a lot of stuff to really share with y'all. A lot of our episodes, all of our episodes are timeless. There are some episodes that are about a certain time, but our episodes are timeless. I think that's something that stands out. That's what I can say before I get into the details about what I was going to say before Willie stopped me. He said, we're timeless. We're a timeless podcast. This thing is timeless. Our content is timeless. Our conversations are timeless. Our lessons that we teach are timeless. The foolishness that we say and the foolishness that we get into is timeless. Even the things where we're incorrect and inaccurate, timeless. So again, I just want to thank y'all. Love y'all. Please come back when we come back, because we gonna be strong and we want y'all to hear us in our strength. Again, this is the High Data Podcast. I am your host, KQ Dog. This is episode 117.5, and we out. Bye.